Hi, my name is Maddie Clark, and I'm going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and how both standpoint theory and muted group theory work to analyze the issues with this movement. I'm going to explore how both of the theories I mentioned can help us as a society understand this social issue in more depth. Then I will talk about the possible solutions for the issue at hand and how we can come together to spread awareness. I will begin by giving you guys a background about the Black Lives Matter movement. As some people may know, Black Lives Matter, or BLM, is a movement that originated in 2013 that targets racial injustice and discrimination that is experienced by Black people. BLM sparked after an incident where a white police officer targeted and shot a Black teenage boy who appeared to be complying with the police orders. This incident caught attention through news and social media and left a large number of people angry and wanting to stop this racially motivated police brutality. The BLM movement has since developed and flourished, and it now has chapters and followers all around the world. In promoting systemic change and addressing problems like mass incarceration, structural racism, and police brutality, the movement has grown significantly. Additionally, the movement has influenced broader discussions about racial justice and equity and has raised public awareness of and interest in systemic problems that Black people face today. There are many ways to view the BLM movement's effects. It has promoted modifications to legislation and policy, such as the American implementation of the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. It has also influenced cultural discussions and media coverage, with racial justice and equality problems receiving increasing exposure in the mainstream media. As well as uniting people from various groups and backgrounds, the movement has served as an inspiration for future social justice initiatives. Now that I have explained to you guys the background of this ongoing issue in our world, I will talk about standpoint theory and how it can be used to analyze the BLM movement. As we talked about in Unit 1 of our class, standpoint theory essentially contends that a person's social position or geographic location can influence their worldview and experiences. According to this idea, people who hold various social positions have multiple views and experiences, and as a result of that, they have particular knowledge and insights into multiple social processes. The idea contends that because of their status in our society, marginalized groups, including women, people of color, and members of the LGBTQ+ community, have special insights into societal power dynamics. The main argument of standpoint theory is that social context and geographic location, rather than being objective or universal, can determine knowledge and reality. According to the notion, people in positions of privilege and or power may have little knowledge of or understanding of the struggles that are faced by these oppressed groups. On the other hand, those in marginalized positions might comprehend power relations in society systems more thoroughly. As this theory focuses on, your position in social and economic situations can essentially impact the way you go through life and what you experience. This is exactly what the BLM movement is trying to touch upon. The fact that Black people are not given equal opportunity or treatment as other humans is giving this group an entirely different quality of life. We are all human beings and we're created equal and should be treated with the same respect and equality, regardless of our skin color. A solution to this problem that I have come up with using my understanding of standpoint theory is to set up marches and protests to advocate for these marginalized groups, specifically the Black community. I will do this by getting in contact with my community and rounding up supporters to help spread the word. I believe this would be helpful as it would give this community access to dominant perspectives and allow them to see the unequal treatment that these marginalized groups have to deal with on a daily basis. The main goal for this is to raise awareness and gain support from the community to respond to this social issue and make a difference in the world. Diving deeper into standpoint theory, my proposed solution relates mostly to social location in the way that people of the Black community are viewed by others. By getting people to come together and take a stand, the hopeful idea is that other members of society will come to a realization that this treatment should not be tolerated in today's world. Moving forward to my second theory, I believe that muted group theory, or MGT, can also be used for analysis when looking at the Black Lives Matter movement. MGT suggests that certain social groups are systematically muted, meaning they are unable to communicate their experiences and perspectives in society due to dominant culture's language and communication norms. Within this theory, there are four main ideas, which include naming, reclaiming, making, and using. The process of naming is the ability to define and categorize experiences, ideas, and objects. To appropriately explain their experiences and challenge the knowledge of the dominant group, marginalized groups must impose their own words, concepts, and definitions. Reclaiming is concerned with marginalized people taking back the words and images that have been historically used to denigrate or marginalize them. The making component of muted group theory describes how disadvantaged or marginalized groups modify and reshape their communication to interact with the dominant discourse. Lastly, using focuses on mainly the power dynamics within language usage, and access. For the social issue that I have chosen to talk about, I'm going to be mainly focusing on the aspects of naming and reclaiming within muted group theory. The Black Lives Matter movement can use the naming and reclaiming components of MGT as effective tools for making a solution and promoting equality and opportunity in the following ways. Because it enables marginalized people to precisely define and communicate their experiences, naming is important for the BLM movement. Black people's experiences are frequently marginalized or dismissed in the dominant culture, which supports systematic racism. The BLM movement makes the importance and urgency of racial injustice, police brutality, and systematic oppression clear by recognizing these realities. Marginalized groups question the mainstream narrative, upset the norm, and make the rest of society face painful truths through naming. The BLM movement can successfully increase awareness, spark conversation, and gather support by framing and explaining Black people's experiences. By giving these disadvantaged voices a platform to be heard, listened to, and empathized with, naming can gain empathy and can motivate supporters to take action. Moving on, language, symbols, and cultural allusions that have traditionally been exploited against these underprivileged communities can be taken back and redefined through the effective strategy of reclaiming. Reclaiming, in the context of the BLM movement, is combating the stigmatized language and unfavorable stereotypes that have been employed to marginalize and dehumanize Black people. To further my credibility in saying that my proposed solution will be effective, I interviewed a friend of mine who has attended multiple BLM marches and protests. Peyton Tarbo, a fellow college student who is an extreme activist for the social issue at hand. To keep it short, I asked her three crucial questions about her experiences. First question being, why did you join the BLM movement and participate in these marches? She replied, I was inspired to join the BLM movement because I couldn't ignore the institutionalized racism and injustice that the Black communities were experiencing. It was an exhortation to confront racial injustice and demand equality. Question 2. How has participating in the BLM marches influenced your development as a person and your comprehension of systemic racism and inequality? Her response: I was able to see firsthand the strength that people have when they come together for a similar cause by attending the BLM marches. It improved my comprehension of how systemic racism and inequality are and motivated me to learn more about them. Question 3, what improvements do you see in the BLM movement, and what areas do you think still need more focus and action? She replied, the BLM movement has made considerable success in bringing attention to racial injustice, including racial profiling and police brutality. It has provoked significant discussions and resulted in some policy adjustments. To combat systemic racism, more needs to be done in the areas of education, criminal justice, and job prospects. To destroy these inequality fostering mechanisms, constant effort is required. As I have proposed today, the solution is to gather up members of our community to stand up and help be the voice of the marginalized groups in our society. After analyzing this social issue through the two theories and interviewing an extreme activist, I can clearly see that the only way to solve this issue is by showing a united front and fighting for equality. Using the aspects of standpoint theory and muted group theory, we can come together and make the difference that the world needs to see. This solution is extremely achievable, as each person only needs to do their part, and the rest will come together. The more people gathered, the closer we will get to our goal. By using these two theories, I have proposed a direction towards equality and a way to help so that society knows where to go. All you need to do is stand behind your community and come together. Thank you.